In this video we want to show you the process involved in how to sow your onion sets. So we'll be sowing our onion sets directly into the soil. You can see the soil beneath me has been dug over. It was dug over about 4 weeks ago when it was dug to the depth of about 1.5 foot and well rotted farmyard manure was added. So next I'm just going to rake it level here, just remove some of this heavier stones to clear that area. So you just get a nice fine finish to the surface. Now onion sets are very handy crops to sow from, so you can see them here. They're better I suppose than growing from seed because they are less likely to bolt, they germinate faster and give you more of a reliable harvest. So I'll just open the bag here now. So you can sow your onion sets outdoors in mid-spring and you can continue to sow them then over the summer months to give you a continual harvest. So I'll just show you them here. Okay, this is the onions. Now what we're going to do now is begin sowing. So we already have a drill here that was sown before. So I'm just going to move 15 centimeters across and then sow my next drill right here. Now when you're sowing your onions, you don't need to make a drill. You just sow your seeds by pushing them down into the soil. So if I can just hold one up for you here. You can see the little small hairs or roots here on the base, showing you that that's the bottom. And then the pointy top of it here was suggested that's the top. So you want to push the bottom down into the soil. Okay. And then you push it down just so that the very tip is slightly covered, just slightly under the soil surface. Now I'm going to sow the next one. You can sow it either 5 or 10 centimeters away. So I'll just sow the next one 5 centimeters away. The closer you sow them, the smaller your crop will be at harvest. So you can continue this along, just pushing them underneath the soil surface every 5 to 10 centimeters. And that's the process. The reason why we want them slightly covered is because birds can often mistake the tips of the onion sets for worms and pull them up out of the ground. In terms of maintenance and care of your onions, you just want to keep the area well weeded, weeding it every 2 to 3 weeks during the summer months and keeping the soil moist at all times. So once we have our sets sown, we will come back and water in the row. Your crop is ready for harvest then once the foliage has begun to turn yellow. At which point you want to water in your row quite well and then lift your onions with a garden fork. So I'm just going to continue to sow the row, again spacing them about 5 centimeters apart. And then if you want to sow an additional row, you want to space that about 15 centimeters away. So you just push them in. The plank here allows me to get a nice straight line, and that way once they spring up it'll be easier to recognise them and not pull them up as I weed. So that's the row in. Now I just want to water it in, so I just get my watering can. And when you're watering in, you just want to get a nice fine spread of water back and forth over your row. And then lastly, just get a plant label and label up the row. So I just put my label here. Now if I want to sow another row, I'll take my plank and move it 15 centimeters across. And effectively then I would sow my next row just here. Okay, so that's it really. That's the process involved in how to sow your onion sets. A video from thegardenshop.ie.